Oh, hello there. Yes. Well, Thursday, I don't care about you. Quite amusing to track the fallout yesterday from Afghanistan and Labour rebels. You can sense that everything is falling apart. Perhaps the centre cannot hold. No, because it's a ridiculous place to be. We will have an awful lot more Tory ministers hot on the heels of Suella Braverman trying to explain drastically as to why it was that they didn't say anything and didn't really object to anything, even when they weren't bound by cabinet responsibility. And the people in the media who allegedly knew all about this all along, it's an open secret, who decided to do nothing about it as well. Meanwhile, of course, on the Labour Party benches, we have the sight inevitably of the Labour right wing deciding that people in their party can't possibly bring up issues about poor people because that isn't the game that they're going to play. Yeah, a plague on all of them, I would say. Anyway, talking about people that don't really know what they're doing and being a bit useless, I thought it was worthwhile just diving into the 11-year-old in a dress with a Union Jack on it story. This one, girl in union dress barred from giving speech on school's Culture Day. Yes. Now, speaking as a teacher, this wouldn't happen with people in school who were actually left wing. I know that sounds slightly nonsensical because the way that it's presented is that loads and loads of evil left-wing teachers created a fuss about this and decided to, stop her stupidly from doing this thing. General rule of thumb that I have with these kind of things is that's fine. There you go. Yes, I know the evil communist in me will say things like that. But actually, people that understand these issues, really properly understand cultural issues, don't have any problems with it. I mean, you can argue the toss about whether or not wearing a Union Jack dress is particularly English dress. I don't really care if I'd set something like this in one of the schools that I worked in and the kid turned up, it would be fine because it's just fine. The news also that Welsh dress people were sort of like dragged up was just sad. But the thing is that teachers that do that don't actually understand what's involved, and they get caught up with this kind of media thing about, oh no, you mustn't be racist, right? And therefore they don't really know what to do because they have no theoretical construct or understanding of the way that these things might work. So what they tend to do is vastly over-problematise things like that when they've got no need to whatsoever. Yeah, it is in part, if you like, that kind of right-wing argument about people not wanting to offend and then just looking really, really crass. And this is where better training would come in. Someone like me doesn't particularly need that because, I'm of a left-wing bent anyway, and I understand these cultural issues. I don't have issues around sexuality or gender or race in schools in terms of the job that I do. I just tend to get on with it, which is what people should do. But people are boxed into corners, and if they don't have any theoretical understanding, then these are the kind of mucky, messy things that you end up with. All those people on the right who complain about all people getting diversity training, that's in part designed to stop things like this happening, yeah? The vast majority of people that I know that react like this to these kind of things in schools are at best vaguely liberal centrists and probably people that I would basically consider to be fairly right-wing. Your average Lib Dem voter. Yeah, it's basically a Tory that likes trees and cycle lanes. That's your Lib Dem for you. But they have no ability on a theoretical level to be able to think their way through these because they're simply not armed with it. It's not really my problem because I'm a sociology teacher. It's part of my backpack, if you like. But these kind of things, the problem with them, of course, is that it just lends loads and loads of ammunition to those rather nasty elements, and which is why Tommy Robinson, of course, is so pleased that a young lady, no doubt in a new dress, will be turning up at his little shindig in September the 13th, I think it is. Yeah, it's just rather sad when people can't think their way through issues, and certainly from my experience in schools I've very, very often found myself kind of being battling as a group of one in a management session about these kind of issues around sexuality, gender, and race. Anyway, ain't left-wing teachers' fault. Yeah, the left-wing teachers don't do this. I know that sounds nonsensical to a lot of you, but that's because you don't understand either. Sorry. Anyway, do have a glorious one, and remember, if you're going to send an email, make sure it's not going to the Taliban. Yeah, astounding. Do enjoy.